Yeah, I'd done a video a long time ago. The guys asked me to just more or less say it again, more or less do it again. It's about a guy called George Kay and Kerry Katona. Kerry Katona is very famous, and George Kay used to be a rugby league player, fantastic player, big guy, 6'3", 6'4", I don't know, 18, 19, 20 stone, powerhouse, light skinned guy, yeah. Anyway, what happened? I was in my place in Harrow, yeah. I was an IPP. I mean, and the police knocks at the door, come upstairs, two CID, one woman, one guy, and saying that there's a guy been to the police station, Paul, I knew who he was, who we were talking about, yeah. He's saying that you robbed him of jewellery on an armed robbery. I went, excuse me? I said, listen, I'm an IPP, yeah, for starters. There's no way that I would go and rob anybody, especially with guns. I said, please, I said, go and check him out, yeah. I said, he's a compulsory liar. I don't know why he's lying to you about it, but anyway, please go and check it out and come back. If you need to arrest me, you need to arrest me, but I'm not guilty of this charge. So 2 weeks later, I get a call, can we come and see you? I thought, oh, what? So they come and see me, and they said, we're very sorry, but we've been in touch with a few people. We know exactly where he was. We know you're not involved in anything like that. And we're now investigating Paul because he's a compulsive liar, and someone like that is very dangerous. I said, thanks very much, yeah. Anyway, they left it like that. And then because I was looking after Paul, I was like his little bodyguard because he's a jeweller. He carries quite a lot of jewellery around, especially jewellery. So I got a phone call from him saying that he wants to see me. But what actually it's about that I lent him £8,000 to buy some watches. And what it was, I used to work with him and get £150 every day. Right? I used to drive the car, I didn't have a licence, I used to drive all over Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, Leicester with jewellery, and deliver jewellery. So I was getting £150 a day. So I used to save it because I didn't have to spend it. I was getting paid for food as well, so and hotels, I didn't have to spend it, so I saved it. And one day he said, look, I need £8,000, can you give me £8,000? I need to buy some watches. I went, no problem, so I give him the money. And just like that, he just left. I didn't hear him, and I thought, what's going on, yeah? And the next thing you know, the police come and see me about a robbery. So, he's trying to get away with the money that he's lent me, that I lent him, sorry. So anyway, I got a phone call for me to go to meet him, yeah? And he owes me £8,000. I'm thinking I want to meet him and he's going to give me my money back. So I get a bus, right, to where he is. And I knock the door, open the door, walk in there, and there's this big guy sitting down, light-skinned guy, big, 6 foot odd, muscular, I don't know, 19, 20 stone powerhouse, yeah? So I go in there and I'm looking at him, I go, all right, mate. He went, what are you here for, mate? I went, well, Paul's asked me to come here. I think he wants to pay me some money, he owes me. So Paul said, I don't owe you nothing, right? But with this George Kay there. So this George Kay said, do yourself a favour, don't come round here no more. He don't owe you nothing, right? And if you come round here again, mate, you're in serious trouble. I said, do what? He said, you heard what I said. So with that, I said, me and you, come on, mate, this ain't right. He said, why? What's up? I said, listen. I said, don't believe him, mate. I said, the police have already been round my house investigating this, and now they've come to me and told me that he's a compulsive liar. They're investigating him now, so Paul's gone into one. Yeah, and they're shouting about it, right? So then this George Kay said, get out, I want to talk to you. Get outside, I want to talk to you, right? So he goes into the car park. So he goes in the car park, he turns around and goes, whoop, bang. He's hit me on the chin, yeah? Crash, man, I've hit the floor, bang. He hasn't done nothing, he hasn't come over and kicked me in the face or nothing like that. I've hit the floor, crash. Wow. I said, so I got up, I said, mate, you're in trouble now. I said, you're in trouble. I went crack, bang, right? But he more or less come towards me with my power and his big man like that. He's not a boxer. He's a powerful man, rugby league player, powerhouse, yeah? He gets hit all the time, doesn't he, by shoulders and all that, you know? Powerhouse. And I went crack, I hit him on the chin and he sat on the floor and looked at me and started laughing. Laughing, I swear. And he stood up and he put his hand out and he shook my hand. He went, oh, nice one. He said, it's the first time anybody's ever done that to me. I said, mate, it's the first time that anybody's like that. I said, yeah, I've had it before, but you can really bang, you know what I mean? Hit me on the chin like that, bang. So we was talking. So then I go home. I've got a bit of a body cake because I haven't got my money still. Paul's, saying this and saying that. He's definitely going to pay me my money back. So I'm indoors, and I get a phone call from Paul. He went, I need to see you. I said, what's up? I said, I need to see you. I said, well, you're going to give me my money back. He said, yeah, I'm going to get some of your money back. I went, so I go over there, got a bus, always a bus, to go and visit him. Goes to the flats where he lived, nice flats downstairs, goes in there. He went, look, that George Kay, he's nicked my case. I said, what? He said he's nicked my case, my briefcase. I went, Paul, what do you mean he's nicked your case, mate? Well, he's looking after me. I said, Paul, that was my job. You give that job to me. And now because of Kerry Katona, he's all round Kerry Katona. He's not getting old of Kerry Katona, but he's all round there like a lapdog, yeah? So, because Kerry Katona's with George Kay, he's giving me the elbow. So I said, anyway, I started to go at him. So he said, I think that George Kay is on drugs. You know, he's always taking bits of money off me, and I think he's on drugs. He's got my case, and it's full of jewellery. So I said to him, look, if I get the case back, am I going to get a lot of money off you? He said, yeah, I was promised I'll pay you your money back, get the case back. So I goes to this hotel where George Kay is staying. But what it was, he was staying there, him and Paul together in the same room. But Paul's come out and then gone home. But George Kay's got his case. So I goes into the hotel, Holiday Inn, I think it was. I goes into the hotel, the Holiday Inn. I said, look, can you tell me which room George Kay's in? And they said, who are you? And I said, I'm Paul's mate, the little jeweller. She said, yeah, he's got to pay us for the room. I said, okay. So anyway, I got to find out where George is. I knocked the door. F off, you this, you that, you're this. I'm going to punch your lights out. He thinks it's Paul. So I said, it's Ray. He went, what do you want? I went, let me have a chat to you, mate. I said, because that Paul is going to phone the police on you, mate, and they're going to come in and bust the door down and see you. Come on, what's the point? He went, I've got his case, he owes me money, he ain't paid me money, I need money, right? I went, slow down, let me hear you talk, yeah? So let me in, George. So it takes George about a minute, 2 minutes to let me in. He's got all stuff. I can hear crash, bash, crash. Well, as I walk in, right, he's put it all over to the side. He's got a mattress on the bed, right? Don't forget this is the Holiday Inn. He's got a mattress on the bed. He's got a big cupboard. He's got tables and chairs all on the door, so no one can get in. He's off his fucking head. I looked at him and I went, George, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? You know what I mean? He's in cloud cuckoo land. I said, George, stop this, mate. Give me the case, right? Even I ain't giving you nothing. You ain't getting nothing from me. I said, George, give me it, please. So, as George stood up, he threw a punch. I slipped it, bang, I've hit him on the chin again. He's hit the floor, but his head's more or less hitting the floor. And I look up at him. Sorry, he looks up at me. I can be me look at him. He looks up at me and he's laughing, yeah? He's laughing. He's big. Listen, this guy is a big, powerful man. You can understand, you know, these rugby league players, mate. They don't muck about. He's massive. Powerful as they come. Really powerful. Massive neck. Really powerful, you know what I mean? And, you know, and I thought, here we go. And he stood up from the floor and he come over to me and bang! He hit me on the chin. I hit the floor, right? And I started, looked at him and George laughed, I laughed, and we come pals. Look, cuddles and all that game, yeah? And I thought, sweet. We're mates, you know what I mean? So he gave me the case and, you know, I didn't say it before, but I'll give him £200, yeah? I know I'd get it back one way or the other, yeah? So I'll give him £200, right? Shouldn't have done it really, because he was going to get more gear with it, but I didn't want him to cause himself any problems. So I left with a case. So I went to see Paul. I went, where's my money? He said, I ain't got no money. I went, I should have took the case. I should have took the case because he had so much stuff in that case, Rolexes and diamond watches and diamond rings and bracelets and necklaces and everything, yeah? Paul's a good jeweller. He got a lot of stuff, yeah? He would put my money, the £8,000 I give him down, I get loads of stuff that worth maybe 200 grand and no paybacks and bits and pieces. But he's got to pay me my money. So I said, look, I want my money, Paul. You know, he's saying this is out of order. I said, not only do I want my money, mate. I said, you called police on me. I said, what's all that about? He went, I was told it was you, Ray. I went, Paul, you know it weren't me, mate. Why would you want to get me nicked? I was an IPP. Why would you want to get me put in prison? No, I swear, I was told, someone told me that it was you, and I had to get it sorted. Please, Ray, I had to get it sorted. I know it wasn't you. He said, I only got to court in the end. And so I said, leave off, mate. Leave off, Paul. So Paul shoots off, yeah? Paul shoots off. What he does, goes all round the gaff and this, that and the other. 2 days later, I come back. I goes over and I go and see George. George now is at the hotel. He's with Paul, yeah? So I goes in there and they're sitting there again. And we're talking, right? And he stood up, George, and he went, you're out of order. Paul's winding him up, wasn't he? He said, you're out of order. I said, what's up now, George? He said, you're out of order. You hit me on the chin in the hotel and put me on my arse. I said, so did you? He said, but you hit me on the chin first. You took the fucking liberties. He said, right. He said, get out of here. We're going to go in the car park, me and you, and have it off. I went, George, I don't want to fight you, George. I don't want to fight you, George. Leave off now. Right? He went, get out there. What, are you a coward? I said, no, I don't want to fight you, George. Leave off now. Let's not do this down to Paul. No, it's down to me and you. You took liberties, right? So there we go. I goes outside in the car park, yeah. Now, me and him, 2 big men. He's bigger than me. He's more powerful than me. You know, I can see it. You know what I mean? Even though I was training, I wasn't on no gear like he was. Yeah, I'm an IPP. Kept trying to keep out of trouble, mate. You know. So, can't believe George. He comes over to me, right? He goes bang. He hits me. Right, I hit the floor. Right, I'll get up, right, straight away, we're fighting. We're fighting for about, it seems like, I don't know, throwing punches at each other, minute, 2 minutes. I'm hitting him, he's hitting me. It's one of them things, isn't it? We're rocking our heads, bang, bang. So I pull back, right, and I'm shaping up, and he hits me. Truth, this is the truth, right? He hits me so hard in the chest, around my heart area, in the middle, yeah, that I hit the floor, and he knocks me spark out. I'm knocked spark out, honestly. Jules ain't never been, he said he'd done a bit of boxing, but he ain't done a lot of boxing. He started playing rugby league. So he should have been a boxer, mate, because his skis just go bang. He could bang, mate, like no one I know. He could really bang. He's knocked me out. I don't know how long it was he knocked me out for, but I got 4 stents in my heart, yeah? So he must have done something to my stents. I don't know what he done. But after all this, I'll tell you quickly, after all that, I had to go back to hospital, because my arteries, something happened to my arteries that I go back for. I think it's because where he hit me so hard, he smashed one of my arteries. He can bang, he could fight. So as I got up after he hit me and on the chest, I sort of give him a left hook, and he went back, bang with the right hand, he's hit the floor, and we just cuddled, mate. After that, we got up and he just cuddled, come over to me, said, come on, mate, come in. We just cuddled, yeah, like pals, like good pals, yeah. And when I see Paul, he's back. I said, where's my money, Paul? I ain't got it yet, but I promise I'll give it you. Paul was always a Jewish fella, didn't want to pay nothing, did not want to pay his debts. So me and George were sticking together, pay him his money. He got money, pay him it. So he gave me 1,500 quid. 1,500 quid. He owes me 8 grand. He's got all that stuff. I felt like taking all the jewellery off him, Rolexes, everything. I said, George, I should have done it. George, he's a monkey, it's 500 quid, mate. George was over the moon. I wish he'd not got on the gear, mate, George. And he disappeared again. He went to a hotel, another Holiday Inn, got out of his nut, right? And he phoned me up. He said, come over and see me. So I went over and see him. I said, what's up? He went, do me a favour, Ray. He said, can you go and see Paul and get the car for me, please? Even though he's not going to give me the car. He went, Ray, he'd give you the car. He would give you the car. He owes you money. He would give you the car. So goes and sees Paul. He's got an automatic, nice car. Goes and sees him. It's a Merc convertible. Goes and sees him. Gives me the car. Go round and see George. George gets in the driving seat. Fuck me, I thought it was a rally driver. I swear on my life. He freaked the life out of me. He was wham. He was crazy, And Kerry Katona lived in Oxfordshire somewhere there. And we pulled outside this gaff, big wooden gates, big wooden fucking things, doors and all that. And he said, what we on? And he shot in the house, shot through these doors and gate and gone. And he come out with a big box, right? I went, what's all that in there? He went, oh, I'm getting my bits and pieces. Right, I'm fucking leaving her, man. I don't need her. He got, mate, he's nicked all watches and jewellery and fucking everything, things that are worth a lot of money. He just took it. I'm now fucking involved. So he's driving like a lunatic and he jumps out of the car, goes in the pub. I'm sitting in the car, comes out 10 minutes later. He's had a couple of drinks. He's driving the car again. And he's phoned up some people and met these people and sold them some bits and pieces, people that he knows from the rugby league game, the union game and all that league game, sorry. So I went, oh, what? Here we go. So they're paying him money and he's going to be back on the gear, isn't he? So he drives and sees Paul, gives Paul back the car, gets Paul round the neck. He wants to kill Paul, choke Paul to death, doesn't he? But anyway, Paul's crying like a baby, yeah? I went, leave me, he's all right. It's Paul crying. I go home. I come back the next day, because now I'm wrapped around both of them, yeah? I'm wrapped around both of them. But Paul, Slippery Paul, was wrapped around Kerry Katona. He's not getting old or nothing like that. He's too ugly and too fat and little to get hold of Kerry Katona. But now he looks a bit different. He's had his teeth done. Anyway, so all of a sudden, it got hold of George. Paul, he went, "You're in trouble." So George goes, "What's up?" He went, "The police have been on the phone to me, George, and they're looking for you, mate. They want you to arrest you, mate. You've broke into her house and you've nicked a lot of things." He said, "Why would I want to break into my own house? I'm married to her. I've got a key." He said, "But you smashed all the doors." He went, "Yeah, because I couldn't get in. She locked all the things." I said, "So yeah, but you broke an entry, George. You can't, it's in her name. You know, I'm married to her." Anyway, he wouldn't have it. But they were looking for George for some time, yeah. And, you know, I like George because he was game. He was game, yeah. As I say, he hit me. He's the only geezer I've ever known to hit me in the chest and knock me out. He didn't just, when I say hit me in the chest, I hit the floor and I was well awake. He knocked me out. I could have been out for fucking, I don't know how long it was, but he knocked me out. But he didn't, and he didn't kick me in the face or do anything else. He didn't pick me up and bash me up. He just, I was on the floor and he'd come over and that's it. But yeah, he's, George Kay was a nice geezer, right? But then, you know, you get to hear things that he OD'd. He died in a hotel, he OD'd. You know, I don't know, you know, what you hear about it, but I can imagine George doing that, you know, because he was off his fucking head. You know, he used to barricade all the doors, no matter what hotel he was in. He used to barricade all the doors so they couldn't get into him, you know. And you know, he was a guy that was very, he was very likable, but very aggressive. Yeah, he wasn't a guy that you could muck about with. You didn't want to muck about with him because you'd always have troubles with him. You know what I mean? And I met about 4 or 5 other people with him, nasty people as well. You know what I mean? And I ain't no oil painting myself, but you know, wrapped around that lot, you know, and you'll bow yourself, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? But yeah, he was with quite a few people. Kerry Katona, without any shadow of doubt, Kerry Katona, because she's on the coke bad, wasn't she? She got him on the gear, mate. She got George Kay on the coke. Without a shadow of a doubt, she got George Kay on it. You know, because there's no way that someone like George, you know, a professional rugby player like that, a rugby league player like that, you know, has got everything going for him, would go onto that shit and ruin his life and well, killed himself, didn't he? You know, why would he do that? Why would he do that? You know, she was no good for him, mate. She was no good for him. She killed him on the way. She just ruined him. Some women can do that to you, can't they? Some women can, you know. I suppose he's never had anybody like her, you know. And I think he had a little child with her, and she refused to give him any contact with the child. I mean that because he was on heavy drugs and what she was on, just the coke itself, but he was on the other thing, the crack, and maybe the brown, I don't know, yeah. But, you know, he was in a bad way, mate, you know what I mean? And she wouldn't give him she wouldn't let him see the kids. She wouldn't let him see the little girl. So you can understand how George was, you know. Anyway, bang, bang, wow, nice one, yeah.